Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to Bowl TV for continued coverage of the 2022 USBC Masters from Las Vegas and Gold Coast. My name is Aaron Smith with Bowl TV, coming to you live from the Bowl TV studios. We are ready to head out to the lanes for C Squad as they get underway in their 1 hour practice session over at Gold Coast. Their first look at the Masters pattern this week, 40 feet in length, 32.3 mils, a lot of volume out there as we head out to the lanes to take a look at our third squad of 140 players, 420 total in the field. And now that we are underway, you can watch some bowling here on the main channel as well. Let's go on site to Gold Coast and bring in Jason Thomas to Bowl TV. JT, welcome back.
Aaron, one more star-studded squad of practicers to watch, 140 of them to be exact. And EJ Tackett cranking one up and throwing a big messenger right as we go on the air.
It's like he knew. EJ taking care of business, always showing off for the fans. That's what we like to see. And he's from Indiana as well, so you gotta love that. And with that, let's also bring in part of the broadcast crew this week, all the way from Chicago, the Hall of Famer Emil Williams Jr. EWJ. What's good?
Hey, Aaron, where are you? Where is Aaron at today?
Texas.
It's been a while since I said that. So it felt timely and important. About as important as that messenger that JT just talked about. It's a good pair to start with, too, with EJ and Ronnie. We were talking about Andrew this morning, kind of hooking it and playing in on the fresh here. And then I think you'll really obviously get a chance to see EJ and Ronnie. And imagine if that looks good, that's probably where they'd be. Perhaps when competition begins tomorrow.
All right, folks, we'll go full screen for you as we will be live for the rest of the practice session, 1 hour in length. Players have the ability to move across the 70 lanes in Gold Coast. All will be in play throughout the course of the week. On bowltv.com, you will be able to watch lanes 19 through 50 throughout all the competition leading up to the stepladder finals, which will take place on April 3rd, 1 p.m. Eastern Time on Fox. This is our third look at the pattern, 40 feet in length, as we mentioned. Some similarities to the pattern used last year at the 2021 Masters, which was held at the National Bowling Stadium in Reno, Nevada. Some of the changes include on the reverse loads, where there's a little bit more oil in the center of the lane, which raises the volume to 32.3 mils compared to 30.3. Ratios, 1.67 on the left, 1.83 on the right, using Kegel current oil. The one big thing to compare when looking at what we saw last year in the low scoring pace at the National Bowling Stadium to Gold Coast, even though they're using the same surface, Brunswick Pro and Villain, the surface at Gold Coast tends to hook more than what we've seen at the NBS over the years. And one thing I didn't mention in the earlier podcast, courtesy of Nick's notes. Also, watch out for that speed bump at the end of the pattern. Only thing missing was the smiley face afterwards. So,
Or is there a twisting of the mustache emoji? That would be Nick Hogan's.
Also a fair point. That's typically what we experience each and every year at the Hoosier Classic, the final Tier 1 event of the regular season on the USBC collegiate side, with 3 patterns from Nick. So just one this week, but typically has played challenging at the Masters, and that's kind of the reports we've been hearing so far as well.
Well, I don't think I've ever seen this before. I mean, obviously, he's just trying to get a read, but I've never seen Bill O'Neill pick 3 off the left and not be trying to shoot a 7. And so that happened just in front of me. He was trying to play out just to get a look at what it was, and missed in a little bit and got 3 off the left. And he kind of looked, he smiled. I guess I'm not going to be playing there.
Just misses. I'm
Okay.
sorry, go ahead, JT.
No, yeah. Go ahead, Emil.
I was just going to say even just from the subtle misses left from earlier sessions, if they're in the middle part of the lane, a little different than what Bill did, but still, I mean, it's been an immediate left turn for equipment.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to give you a little more background on why that's a big deal, Rob Gottschall, who now works for USBC and is a member of the tournament staff here this week, formerly was a tour rep for EBI, and he said Bill O'Neill was the absolute best player he ever worked with at replicating exactly what Rob wanted him to do. And so what that means is he's never going to miss the head pin left. He's never going to go runaway Brooklyn, really. He just makes great shots. He's a machine at repeating. And so it just shows you how tricky they are if a shot maker of his quality, even though he was just testing the lanes and wasn't really trying anything, could be that far off on a single shot. It shows you how challenging they are.
JT, did you just give Bill O'Neill a free pass for all the years Rob was his ball rep? That anytime he didn't make a cut, it was just Rob's fault?
Wow. I think Rob would probably agree with that, but no, I mean Bill O'Neill is such a great shot maker. That's why he always is such a factor at the U.S. Open every year, former champion at that event, and he throws a lot of power and his rep rate's high, but he's just so good at repeating.
I have to say, in the early going here, EJ Tackett is impressing. He has already left a fourth arrow. That's again just the practice session, but he's getting the big wheel out. He's turning the bus here.
Yeah, EJ, a good golfer, and we always try to stay away from the golf analogies here, but another giant messenger's down to 710. Did you guys happen to see that 300 clip of his in Lubbock early on in the event? The 10th frame of that 300 that he bowled qualifying.
I didn't see it. Like I know what happened and recall perusing it on social, but I never got a chance to get back and watch it.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. The pin action in the 10th frame was just ridiculous. I mean, I don't think anybody's had a single one of those shots happen in their own bowling careers. He had 3 in one frame, or a 300, by the way. Of course, it didn't work out on that shot he threw at the 10th to lock up the title, but that solid 9 with the messenger in front of him was just brutal. And Belmo got up and does what Belmo does, throws a double to take it. But yeah, EJ just throwing pins around. Leaves a 7-10 there. I kind of want to see him shoot it. If he makes it. Not going to get a chance. That would have been fun to watch too. But no, I mean, to go back to the golf analogy, there was a saying about Jack Nicklaus by Bobby Jones that he doesn't play a game that we're familiar with. It's almost like he's playing a different game. And you watch it and you go, okay, well, other people should be able to do that too, but nobody can.
Nice to see Matt Sanders for multiple reasons. One, I just haven't seen him in a minute. I think what was the last time? When was the last time we were at Gold Coast? That would have been team trials. Well, at least for me. Maybe it was the U.S. Open. Nonetheless, always good to see him. There's a few lefties here on this squad. Just looking at the pairing sheet.
Is that JT? Since you're on site there, I know at the U.S. Open, I believe Ronnie introduced you to to a young man who has a career outside of bowling, who's a country music singer. Is that who's bowling with them on 47-48? I forget his name off the top of my head, but Chuck Wicks.
Yeah, it is, Aaron.
That's kind of cool. That would be at least, what, 2 country music stars and such that we've at least that have been associated recently with bowling.
Yeah, and I got a chance to meet him, and he pulled the PTQ at the U.S. Open. He was just a cool guy, super nice guy. Well, we saw one music star win a PBA title this year already. I talked to him after the end of the A squad practice session, Kevin Williams.
Yeah, it was a good interview as well.
Yeah, what a cool story. I mean, like I said in the interview, it was you saw him, and the first time you see him, you say, okay, this is cool. Here's a musician who likes bowling. But now he's a bowler that likes music. He's got the title on the PBA. And just kind of seeing him work his way through and just get better and better and better, and the way he performed to win that title was just so impressive.
Yeah, Kevin's had some close calls this season. I know at the Players Championship to kick off the year, I believe a stuff 8-pin cost him a shot at that show, and has been working hard. They're doing a lot of cool content as well. We mentioned the House YouTube channel, and get a lot of insight to tour life and kind of everything going on with that. But yeah, I mean, that's the scenario. That's, what you dream of as a kid, practice, put it in the work. Okay, these 3 are for, the title, whatever the situation may be, US Open, whatever tournament you want to tie to it. You have that moment in your head, man, I need all 3 right here. And, throwing it in practice is one thing, and then doing it underneath the bright lights of TV, and just phenomenal. And it's always great to see a new winner in the, kind of getting that experience. In that particular match, we're going to have a new winner regardless, as he was faced up against AJ Chapman. But always fun to see players step up and really get to see the emotions of those moments too.
Well, I think the most impressive thing about it was on the shark pattern. He was throwing urethane from in. He really didn't have a lot of room. He had to make 3 great shots, really, because he had to get count on that last shot. And so, the whole thing is just impressive. You see that and you go, well, this guy's legit. This guy's a legit bowler. He could win any single week. It's not just, he didn't win a show where it was 5 lefties and the left side was easy and the right side was terrible. He won a show where, lefties traditionally don't do well on the shark pattern. It's a harder pattern for lefties. And he didn't have a lot of room, so he was making shots. And then he had to make 3 great shots just to win. So, I mean, I say to a lot of people that the difference between a good pro and a great pro is a great pro can get a strike whenever they need it. And that proved it right there. And so if you could get up and get those strikes when you absolutely have to have them, it shows that you can hang out here.
Look out for his music career taking off too. He's associated with some good people that I've met recently within the last year, and some change in the bowling industry that have had a long time music industry ties, and have worked with big name artists in their career. So he's on the up and up in both of his respective professions, if you will.
Need to see if we can get him to do a Bowl TV intro for us.
Better get him now before
Get him-
price goes up.
That's a fair point.
Yeah.
Very fair point.
He's done some pretty cool bowling songs. I think, isn't his strike song his own song about bowling?
Yep, I'm pretty sure. Yes.
Yeah.
I thought it was the Kyle Troop Pick It Out was his as well.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, we've seen EJ just hook the whole lane here for a little bit. Let's take another look around the house while we have the opportunity. Anthony Simonson is not going to be on the squad. He's a past Masters champion and won the U.S. Open a little bit earlier this year. So we'll head over there in just a moment.
You know, he is. I don't know who else is on this pair. Obviously, you checked it out already. But I was happy to see that Sandra Gongora is not only bowling, but I believe she's going to be crossing with Anthony Simonson this week.
That's cool. I saw her yesterday. She was practicing up on the high. In fact, what was really interesting was Belmo was helping Chris Sloan, and then he was working with Sandra after he was done working with Chris.
How about that?
All right. Here's our first look at Simo, and he's about 4 zones right of where Tackett was just playing.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them both make the show playing there,
Mm-hmm.
respectively. I mean, that's how great these players are. Is they can play anywhere on the lane. They just do everything. And Simonson, we talked a little bit earlier today about Belmo and revolutionizing the game, and he's actually taking it another step. He's bringing some different angles into it that Belmo, hasn't been able to do. He's incorporating his backup ball into the equation. I saw him do one of the most amazing things I think I might have ever seen at the U.S. Open a few weeks back, which was he left the 4 count through the nose. 3, 4, 6, 7, 9, 10. And he shot it with a backup ball and almost made it. And just think about that for a second. I mean, he was trying to make it. He needed to make it to win a match. And so he thought that was his best chance of making it. 'Cause normally you shoot that, move a little left, shoot it off your strike line. You try to get the ball off to slide the 3 over into the 4 and have enough on it left to take the 9 pin out. And he just thought, well, the way this pattern is, I can't go that far right, or it'll go in the gutter. And if I move way left, it's not going to have enough on it to hit the 9 pin. So he said, my best chance is just to throw a backup ball and try to make it like a 2, 4, 8, 10. And he almost made it. He spared all of them except for the 4 pin. And it's just like, that's something I've never seen anybody try. And he almost pulled it off. So he's just amazing, an amazing talent. And I bring this up to as many people as I can and ask the question, do you think he's going to break Belmo's records? And almost everybody says no. And I try to remind them, hey, you realize he's already got 8 titles by the time Belmo had won his first. And he's got the majors. He's legit. And what puts the cherry on top for me is that Belmo recently said after he beat him in a match, hey, when I bowl you, I have to beat you. Otherwise, it's going to be that much easier for you to break all my records.
It is a fair point. And yeah, Anthony's been on the scene for so long. It's sometimes you don't remember that he's just 25. So that's a very fair point. And of course, winning the Masters, becoming the youngest major champion in history at 19 years old in 2016. defeating Dan McClelland at Woodland Bowl, and then being able to come back at Woodland Bowl earlier this year, back in February, win the U.S. Open after a couple of close runs at that event, including a runner-up finish in 2020 to Belmo. But yeah, it's just always fun to watch Simo. Just sees the game in such a unique way and how he can attack things, and we kind of see that now. He's gone from the gutter now into the middle part of the lane.
And I think the other thing is, and the reason he's so dangerous in the matches is he'll do that in practice of the matches, and his opponent will have no idea what he's going to do. Just no clue. And so, I mean, that's kind of scary. You know, you're bowling a guy that can basically do anything. I mean, he could even turn it around and throw a backup ball on you. I mean, there's just nothing you can do.
That sounds familiar. I think he did that in 2019 at Gold Coast in one of his matchups, where in practice he played out on the right side and then switched, ended up switching to backup ball, or maybe it was the other way around. But yeah, it was one of those things where you see it happening in real time, and you're like, okay, he's doing this, and all of a sudden, you know, you look up again and wait, what direction did that ball just come from?
Yeah. No, it's and I think that's why Belmo's been so great in this event is you watch him practice in the matches, and he's not trying to carve a spot for himself. He's kind of jumping all over the place. He hardly ever throws a strike in practice before the matches start. And so you think, okay, well, maybe I'm going to have a chance. But what is he doing? Why is he throwing it all over here? And then you think, okay, well, maybe he's doing it to mess up where I'm playing. And none of it is what he's doing. He's just looking at all the different parts of the lane to see what the options are. And then once the match starts, he decides where he wants to play. And then it's on. And if it doesn't look good, he just switches. And then even if you get out to a 40 or 50 pin lead, and then he jumps 3 zones and puts a double on you, you start to go, oh, here he comes. The Belmo signal's in the sky. And that's what Simon can do. Except I think he's got even more tricks.
When we flipped over to this pair, there was one gentleman bowling on 31 and 32. I believe has made his way to another part of the house. But good to see Josh Blanchard out there.
Smooth Josh Blanchard. He's this generation's David Ozio.
Yeah, I caught that, and we were in mid combo, but yeah, it is good. And obviously, Josh has transitioned over to the administrative side of things regarding the PBA West region manager in Northwest. Excuse me. So yeah, one of those things. I guess you'd never know when. Obviously, we don't keep up with Josh. Like, we don't know his schedule to that extent, but not knowing when he's going to bowl. So definitely a very nice and wonderful surprise to see him, and hope he bowls well this week also.
Angie Vi in the chat saying that Chris Vi also uses one of Kevin Williams' songs as his strike zone. So pretty soon. I mean, maybe he might want to rethink that, right? Because he'd be on TV, and then all these guys he's bowling against have his strike song.
Well, that's like getting 2 strike songs, if you think about it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Like, you get more hype when your opponent strikes, and then you get more hype and more hype. It just continues on and on.
Hopefully, it worked out some residual payments for those strike song usage. Oh, look at that lead over on 29. 6, 7, 8. That's weird. 6, 8 with a 7.
I see. Well, there's an O.
It's weirdness. 2, 7, 10.
Yeah. One thing that has stood out to me so far watching these practice sessions, and it's not necessarily the pattern. I think the characteristics there are starting to and have shown, based on the numbers and the specs. But the amateur players that are here, and just looking, some of them really throw it well. I don't know, exactly how it will translate, obviously, on this condition, but you see the base and the approach, the release, and in some cases the rev rate is looking pretty good.
Yeah, I think the difference between then and 20 years ago was it was pretty obvious physically who the best players were. Whereas now, almost everybody looks great. It's a matter of knowledge and experience, and the nice thing is, because of the age in which we live and YouTube and some of the great content that the house is doing, and Brad and Kyle, and some of the stuff that we do, there's just so much more information out there for players, so you can actually get information and experience at a much earlier age than you were able to before. So you have somebody like Spencer Robarge, who's a freshman in college, and is basically as experienced as a tour pro. So that's pretty cool to see. But yeah, there's so many great physical games, and in a lot of cases, it's just a question of how much they apply themselves to learn as much about the game as they can, and how much experience can they get, whether it's at the collegiate level or through local bowling, to get themselves out here and be competitive. It would be like almost going to a basketball camp and just seeing all the young players, and everybody's dunking and making Steph Curry threes, and you just go, wow, there's a lot of talent here. But then you get them in a game situation. Can they play the game the right way? And that's kind of what we're seeing out here.
It's kind of a good question. You mentioned Spencer, and obviously he made a nice run, a great run. In fact, last year in Reno. And at what point did you guys start kind of noticing, or did he exhibit signs? And obviously, I don't remember where he qualified, but so that could have started on day one, for example. But at what point did you guys realize that he started exhibiting signs that said he could make a nice run through match play and into the show?
I think when he was 12 years old.
Well, that's not a lie.
I thought maybe he'd make the show at the Masters.
That is true. I guarantee he also thought that as well.
No, but you know what? He was in that 4-for-3 match.
Okay.
And that was where things got really interesting, because he was the only lefty in the match, and he got off to a quick start, and then his look went away. And a couple of guys who started slow, Sam Cooley in particular, started putting some strikes on the board and putting a lot of pressure on him. And the way that he performed down the stretch to hold those guys off and earn a spot on the show, it just showed you that he's already got what it takes to be on tour. I'll use one more example. We watched him bowl junior gold this year, and when they got into the match play portion of the bracket and the pattern, no, it's the final advancers round where the pattern went to flat, and he just instinctively, he didn't try to find any area. He just instinctively moved the fourth arrow and threw it at the 2-pin. And they didn't tell the players what pattern was out there. They didn't know it was flat. He just knew based on his ball motion that's what he needed to do. And he just has this innate sense of how to bowl. It's amazing. It's amazing to watch. He just knows the best place to be on the lane to give himself the best possible chance of having a little bit of margin for error and being able to carry. And he just has an incredible eye for it.
Since we're on the subject of Spencer, and you mentioned, when he was 12, let's see if I can pull this off. Oh, I might not be able to pull this off as smoothly as I would have liked, but give me a second. I can still get there. Talk amongst yourselves. I'll be right back.
Well, I think just to go a little deeper into that point, this is a game about knocking the pins over. Who can knock over the most pins? It's very similar to golf. Get the ball in the hole in the least amount of strokes. It sounds simple, but there are tricks to doing it in the most effective way. And like, for example, have you ever seen Norm Dukley with 5'10"?
Who is that? I'm sorry.
Yeah, Norm Duke.
Oh no.
No, but he throws a street ball. I mean, look at, but his rev rate's low. He doesn't have a lot of power, but he has an eye for how to get the ball to the pocket and then how to make it go through the pins as hard as it can possibly go with the amount of power that he has. And it's just an eye for it. And I don't think you can teach it. I think you can learn about it a little bit more, but there are certain players that just have this innate sense of how do I knock the pins over? It's almost like they're willing the pins over when they have to. And I think Spencer has it. Obviously, Simo has it. Velmo has it. BJ has it. A lot of players over the years have had it. Walter Ray was amazing. One of the funnest shows I got to watch ever was the Plastic Ball Championship. And he made the show with the 4 highest rev rate players on the tour at the time. And he was in the first match, and 3 of the guys that were coming up next were watching the first match at the bar. And every shot he would throw, they would, as soon as he threw it, they would say flat 10, and it would slap the 10 out. And they would be like, how does he do that? How does he get this plastic ball to slap the 10 out? They were like, if we were playing there and throwing it like that, we'd 5-10 every time. But he's able to get the 10 out. He's even throwing messengers. But he just had an eye for when he needed that ball to hook in just the right place to give himself margin for error and get it to hit hard enough to strike. And it's just amazing. It's really amazing.
All right, I got my Spencer photo ready. This photo is from 2015 when he won junior gold in the U12 division. I was hoping to show the whole tweet because I was going to promote myself with my clever tweet, but yes, essentially this is when he was getting ready, I think, to bowl Jesper Svensson. And it's like we think of Jesper, we think of the Iceman, the stone cold demeanor, the 600 rev rate. And he's taking on this guy right here. My man Spence. That was only 7 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
when he won junior gold in the Chicagoland area, I believe 2015 was in Chicago. That was, I think, the very first televised junior gold and first televised U12 championship. But going back to the Simonson aspect of someone who, like, it feels like he's been around for as long as we've been doing this, because they start so incredibly young now and find success at such young ages. And for Spencer, it's the same thing. It's hard to think. I think, Emil, in your recent talks with him, I think 19 years old. Is he 19 yet?
I don't think so. Hold on. Might be able to find that answer for you quickly. Yeah, based on what I'm just reading, and at the time of the Masters last year, he was 18, so that should make him 19 at this point.
19, but he's been on the radar since he's been 10. Just phenomenal stuff. And somehow we have quickly gotten toward the end. We're in the final 10 minutes nearly, guys.
Yeah, 12 minutes left in the practice session.
So this is going to be our friendly reminder that to check out the USBC Masters lanes 19 through 50 throughout the course of qualifying and match play leading up to the stepladder finals. You'll want to pick up a subscription to bowltv.com. You can pick up an event ticket to watch the live action each day through April 2nd for $12.95. You can pick up a monthly recurring subscription for $9.95, which gives you full access to bowltv.com, including archived content, as well as the on-demand channels. Then an annual recurring subscription, $79.95, the best way to support the PWBA Tour, which starts up in May. Transaction fees do apply at all three price points. Not only do you get the Bowl TV chat and the great community who hangs out with us for each and every show, but giveaways. Yes, giveaways, folks. And we'll be having one coming up here in just a couple minutes. Our third giveaway of the day, but can only be one if you're watching on bowltv.com. So if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, you still have time to go over to bowltv.com, create a login just for today to participate in that. And then, of course, pick up the subscription to watch the USBC Masters in 2022 from Gold Coast.
Blake Peterson in the Facebook chat asking if anybody knows if the Gold Coast is selling tickets to the event. And the answer is no, but it's free to attend. It's first come, first served. I would imagine it's going to fill up pretty quick. The shows on the PBA Tour this year have been great crowds. And so if you want to come down and watch the show this weekend, this next weekend, you can. Just make sure you get here early. All right. Another comment in the chat, guys. This is the eternal question for anybody who has written for a living like you guys both have, or been an English lit major in school like I was. Is it bowl good or bowl well? Yes.
Well.
That's funny. I would have gone with well also.
Okay, I'm going to take the other side. I'm going to say bowl good is okay, because that is the colloquial terminology in bowling. You don't say bowl well if you're out in a bowling term. You say bowl good, don't you? Don't you guys say bowl good?
No, my
really.
opponents, no. Terrible.
Terrible.
No,
Okay.
I can see your point, though. That That makes
And
sense.
I'm the English lit major. I'm the English lit major, so I should totally be the one saying Bull well. And Jeff Goodger, there's no way he's ever saying Bull good. There's just not happening. So we've argued about that till I'm blue in the face, and I'm not convincing him. I'm just going to agree to disagree. But growing up, I always said Bull good. It was what you said. Try to think of another term in another sport that is just a colloquialism what they say, and somebody come in and say, "Well, that's not proper English, so you can't say that." Like, well, that's what you say in this sport. Sorry.
That's a really good kind of off bowling, off the main subject of what's happening here, but also very perfect and poignant, obviously, for the sport itself. And it really gets you to think.
All right. Well, I'm just curious to hear what people in the chat have to say about
Oh, it's popping.
it. Yeah. Joe Jack is another writing person. How about Bull bestest?
Come on, Joe.
Is he making fun of me?
That was not his
advocating
first
Bull good?
answer. He's in the well category.
Jeannie Franklin, another person who is in the proper use of English category, and it's
Nice full breakdown too.
a nice explanation of why Bull well is correct, which I totally agree with. But I've never said Bull well to anybody when I've bowled a tournament. I've always said Bull good, even though there's a certain part of me that knows it's completely wrong. Yeah. Joe said, "I'm definitely making fun of you and your massive beard, JT." Thank you, sir.
Things are getting lively in the Bowl TV chat, which means I think it's time to throw out the giveaway, folks. So for those of you joining Bowl TV for the first time, we thank you. You'll see a prompt in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen come up in just a moment. It's going to say a giveaway will begin soon. Watch you to participate. We'll count down for 60 seconds. And then after that, you'll see another prompt in the same exact spot on the video screen. It'll say the giveaway has begun. There will be a submit entry button. All you have to do is click submit entry. If you are in full screen mode, we do recommend you take it out for a quick second. Make sure you can see the Bowl TV chat. We'll get that underway in just a moment here. We only got a couple folks here, so we're still going to go on the next strike. And we got the Hall of Famer, Coach K himself, Steve Klemkin. Made the show here in 18. Put too much pressure on Steve. That was my bad.
Steve is awesome.
But we got a strike.
He was pumped about bowling this tournament. I actually saw him a couple of weeks ago. I was at the Storm headquarters to do Bill and Barb Christmas Hall of Fame interview, and so I spent some time with Steve, and he was ready for the Masters. He loves this tournament.
I feel Steve is in the, we talked to Tim Mack earlier today. I feel Steve is kind of in that category of just not only a great bowling person, but a great just human being in the best sense that there is. Always love the opportunity to talk to Steve and just everything he does for the sport. So big thanks to Steve for just being Steve.
Coach K.
He too looking for a Final Four appearance here at the Masters. See, that was too easy. I got to take those shots. Got to fire those all day.
What are we giving away again, Aaron?
One more Bowl TV t-shirt.
One more.
To one lucky winner. Folks, as a reminder, we'll be back tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 local time in Las Vegas for A Squad qualifying round 1. Three squads per day for 3 days until we get down to the top 63 and our defending champion, Thomas Larson, before we get into the famed double elimination match play bracket. Get down to our top 5 for the step ladder and eventually our champion. Congratulations to Gary Hallstrom. Gary, I'm sorry if I mispronounced your last name, but congratulations. You're taking home a Bowl TV t-shirt.
Congrats, Gary.
Our marketing team will be reaching out to you in the next couple days to redeem your prize. So be on the lookout for that email. Congratulations. And thank you again to everybody for participating and being part of the Bowl TV community. That was our final giveaway of the day. But don't worry. We have plenty more to give away throughout the course of the week. So always keep an eye out. We'll always let you know when those giveaways are coming.
And some of the additional prizes this week for maybe a slight tease are no, okay. Maybe Aaron's not here.
Oh, you were waiting for me. Okay, I thought you were.
I don't.
I didn't
I
realize.
don't have
that
the.
I didn't.
I don't have the list in front of me.
Yes, I have it. I can tell you. I didn't realize you were throwing me the alley-oop there.
Yeah,
and
we
I
just
missed
turned the
it
ball over
fantastically. It was off the rim. In addition to Bowl TV t-shirts given throughout the course of the week, during match play, we will have one Storm, one Rotogrip, and one 900 Global bowling ball to give away. So some bowling balls to be given out once we head into the match play portion of the event. And then in our final event on Bowl TV, the 4 for 3 to earn the final 4 players from the elimination bracket. 3 make it to the show. So that's going to be April 2nd. Got to give away a Galaxy Tab A7 as well. So that's what we got, folks. Giveaways throughout the course of the week. Watch and win on Bowl TV.
should be just about wrapping up, but trying to think. And Aaron, I'll get your opinion on this before we go. Obviously you see more high level, let's say, amateur players, and then, whatever other level amateur player that, some of these individuals are. Here's Matt Sanders still getting after it a little bit here as well, obviously with his cards, Steven there, Coach K. But for everyone here and the varying levels of players, at the end of a practice session, we always see spares being shot. Maybe some players are going to do something maybe extreme just to try it, just in case, because they really may not get a chance to try it, or they'd love to know just in case they need to make some grand move during the week. But I'm curious, in your opinion, how would you approach the end of a practice session? I know that's a weird question in a sense, but I was looking at who was out there, and I'm like, okay, it's not atypical to see most of the the big name players to not be there. They kind of know exactly what they're looking for. They know what they want to see. But it's different, I would imagine, in some situations for players who may be experiencing the Masters for the first time or something along these lines. Your thoughts as the session here wraps up.
I think that's a great question. And, in going back to our conversation about Tim Mack, or with Tim Mack, kind of looking ahead to his time on the lanes here, and then looking ahead, obviously, you talked about the more times the pattern is stripped and removed and then added back, it'll tend to play flatter throughout the course of the week. So, I think for a lot of folks, maybe it's, just getting that initial read for the first ball. For the players who stay out there a little bit longer, it could be a matter of reps. You mentioned, from the professionals to, the top level amateurs, maybe it's just about getting reps, or could be, something along the lines of, if there's any hiccup in the physical game, this is the best opportunity to try and get whatever hitch in the giddy up it may be, kind of back in line. So, I think there's opportunities for that. Obviously, they will see a burn squad too. I don't think the practice session necessarily gives you that, but maybe it gives you just enough to, maybe see what ball is going to look best, or, going to give you a little bit better look as you move, further into the pattern. So I think, there's varying reasons why, but I think for a lot of times for a first time participant, it's, oh my goodness, I'm at the Masters. This is really happening. I'm going to take in the experience as much as I can.
Good words there. I would agree. I'm even trying to put myself in that position. I mean, I'd probably take the full time, certainly. And probably because you would anticipate maybe being a little unsure about something, no matter what it is, you just probably want to take that extra time to try to, figure out, if necessary, what works, what won't. You can easily get into a situation where you could overthink it. And obviously, if you bowl or have ever bowled, you probably have done that once or twice in your lifetime, and that's exactly what you don't want to do. But I look forward to seeing this week play out in a sense, and what could be seen as kind of a week or a Masters that's kind of back to normal, quote unquote. Last year was all in one building, back to back, U.S. Open, Masters, obviously strict protocols, et cetera, et cetera. Now Gold Coast is the rocking. Last time we were there, Aaron, we didn't even we did a lot of cool interviews and some stuff that we didn't normally get a chance to do.
It was a good time, indeed. Enjoyed that event in 19. Jacob Buttroff ended up taking his first career major, and with that, we're back at Gold Coast and going to have a champion here in 2022, and it all starts tomorrow, folks. So we're going to head away from the lanes and head back to our respective locations. We are all over the country here as we bring it back. There we are, folks. But practice sessions, they are complete. All 420 players, 140 on each squad, A squad, B squad, and C squad, have had their opportunity to bowl for an hour on the 40-foot pattern being used this week. And now it's go time. Competition will start tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern time, with the competitors on A squad. B squad will follow, C squad after that. So for the next 3 days, just full days of bowling, almost nonstop, here at the USBC Masters before we get to the top 64 for the double elimination match play bracket. JT, I know you're looking forward to the bracket, but qualifying, obviously, a lot to transpire in the next 3 days as we get closer to narrowing down that field. What are the things you're looking forward to over the course of the next 3 days as we get into qualifying with this big field?
Yeah, I think there are definitely you're going to have the usual suspects make it, right? You're going to have your EJ Tackett's and your Belmos and your Simonsons and all of those players are going to make it, I think. So those guys are going to be there. I think what's going to be interesting about this week is who are some of the dark horses that are going to make it through. Are we going to see someone like, I don't think Cameron Crowe's a dark horse at all, but I think it'll be really exciting to watch him make the cut and get to go head to head with some of these top players. I mean, how awesome would it be to watch an EJ Tackett versus Cameron Crowe match? That would be so cool. So I'm looking forward to seeing those kinds of things, and maybe some players we maybe aren't even on our radar that just come out of nowhere, or maybe somebody from the past. A Tim Mack making the field would be very exciting, or Robert Smith, somebody who hasn't even competed in quite some time. And I'll tell you, he's just watching him bowl today. He looks awfully good. I wouldn't want to have to draw him in the first round or any round, really. So I think that's what we have to look forward to, coming up over the next couple of days.
But by the way, would you say you have the most Robert Smith experience in the building right now?
I don't know. I would say I'd be in the top 10 maybe, but yeah, I mean, I still think. And by the way, if Robert wins this week, he's eligible for the PBA Hall of Fame. Just saying.
Okay. How about that? I am looking at Dom Barrett, and based off his win last week or this week, or yes, last week at the PBA Colorado Springs Open, already has a major this year with the TOC. He's now Triple Crown winner, and I feel like if he were to win, he could at least sway potentially a few votes away from Belmont regarding the PBA Player of the Year race. There's also some things on the PBA side of things regarding the playoffs for those still vying for spots in that. So that's something to keep an eye on in that realm. It's also or almost PWBA season, and there are a few athletes competing in the Masters this week. So for those obviously who watch Bowl TV, you know all about the PWBA, or if you don't, we cover that tour on this network. And so looking forward to seeing some of the great PWBA stars and players utilized this week. Hopefully it's a good one, and then that kind of gets you in the mood, if you will, for some great women's bowling coming up here in May. And then kind of what similar to JT just talked about, those who may not be on the radar, amateurs or even high level players that, again, maybe have taken a break, have moved into different roles. Other professionals like Josh Blanchard, for example, who could, it's not his first time, bowling the Masters. He could easily find himself in the top 63 or 64 when it's all said and done. So it should be a very good week.
Couldn't agree more with you guys. Plenty to look forward to right here on bowltv.com throughout the course of the week. And as we said, 32 lanes are going to be available to watch along with our commentary channel throughout the week. And then updates on social media across all the USBC platforms. So be sure to check those out as well. Give them a follow, a like, all that good stuff. So you're keeping up with the action throughout the week. And to see if we have, I'm going to make a bold prediction here just because we're in the heart of collegiate postseason. Why not? We're going to have a college kid on the show. Collegiate athlete going to make the show this week. I have no idea who. So I'm rooting for all of them equally right now until, one or two really start shining out there. But yeah, I'm excited to see the youth movement, and then obviously all the excitement of the PBA tour kind of wrapping up with the fifth major of the year. So many great finals throughout the course of the season already. So it's going to be fun to watch. You're not going to want to miss a minute of the action. BowlTV.com is the place to be for that. So folks, as we sign off for today, I want to give a big thank you to the USBC and USBC Board of Directors, to Storm, Rotogrip, and 900 Global, our gold industry partners, Kegel, the official lane maintenance provider of USBC, of course, the athletes, 420 great competitors out on the lanes this week, competing at the USBC Masters, and all you good folks watching on Bowl TV. As always, the chat is open. We're ready to have a good time with you, and just enjoy bowling, enjoy the action, and whatever else may come up throughout the course of the week as we make our way through a bunch of qualifying games before we get down to the top 64 and into the excitement of the double elimination match play bracket. So with that, and for the team, of course, big thank you to Curtis Von Kruger, Jason Thomas, Emil Williams Jr. My name is Aaron Smith. We're signing off from Bowl TV from the USBC Masters. We'll be back tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern, to kick things off with A squad qualifying. So everybody have a great rest of your Monday. We'll see you soon. And remember, on Bowl TV, bowling lives here.